morning. Welcome to another Saturday Stay in Bed, Let's Chat. I am with my friends. As you can see, I have Tina Marie. I have Tina Marie with me today, and I have the Honorable, our friend, who will be speaking with us today about her book, Dr. Sylinda Mumphery. And I met Dr. Mumphery through Tina Marie, right, Tina Marie?
Yes, ma'am.
And when I met her, I knew she was a powerhouse. And she's written a book that I want to share with you all here today. You'll see me on two different phones because technical difficulties don't have nothing on Jesus. So
Nope.
I don't know what's going on today, but again, welcome to our Saturday Stay in Bed and Chat. I can see that we have some people in the room. Tamika, if you would like to step on the platform, I'll give you an opportunity to do so shortly. Good morning. Good morning. Without delay, let me introduce to you all Dr. Sylinda Mumphery.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, Doctor. I'm calling you Dr. BK. Receive it. Receive it. Lady Farley, thank you so much for having me this morning. And Tina Marie, it is so good to see you. I'm sitting here like, oh my God. Okay, I know who this is.
It's a blessing to see you again.
Oh my God. Yes, it is. Happy Women's Month to you both. I'm excited to be
Thank you.
here. Again, Dr. BK, thank you for having me. I am, again, Dr. Sylinda Mumphery. I reside in Atlanta, GA, Georgia, Peach, yes. And I am an author. I am a life coach. I am also CEO of Removing the Bandages nonprofit foundation and women's movement and ministry. And I have a girls mentoring program, Girls to Pearls. And I just love to love on people. My motto is I come to speak life into everything that is lying dormant on the inside of you. And I'm ready to speak life on today to every person that is tuned in. We're going to get it. This is our month. This is our time, our turn, and our season. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. And good morning, Benita. It's so funny that you say you come to speak life to whomever you meet. When I met you, and I saw the women that were surrounding you, and literally on the platform, I watched people begin to dry bones begin to live again when you were beginning to speak. So I I know that to be true. So I am co-signing that. She speaks life. That you do. Yes, ma'am. I have some questions here for you. But before we get into the questions, I just wanted to talk about your book and what led you, because this platform today, especially Women's History Month, one of the questions even was like, women are not to be talking about their personal business like the way we were raised. They don't talk about their personal business in
Mhm.
public and in the streets because it brings not only shame to them but to their husbands.
Yeah,
That
that's what we're
that's the
told.
notion.
Mhm.
But oh, when for those who are watching, and I see that we have some people on LinkedIn and Instagram, so I just want to let you all know. I know that you wanted to order the book, but the book literally sold out by the time that I had asked Dr. Mumphrey to come onto the platform. The book had sold out, but we can get those books now. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want the book, you can as a matter of fact, put Dr. Sylinda, put your information and the website where we can buy the book in the chat. So this
Definitely.
way, if anyone comes on and they want the book, I have to order my book too because it was back ordered. But you guys, we're going to be able to get it. They're back in stock. So
Okay.
yes.
For some reason, it's not letting me connect. I don't know what's going on. So let me give that to you, Abike.
Okay.
Um, okay, it's my name, Sylinda DSYLINDAD.com.
And that's where we can order the book. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're coming on and you're watching on LinkedIn and Instagram, which I can still see your chats, but I just wanted to let you know you can get that book by going to cylindad.com. The books are back. The books are ready, guys. So happy Women's History Month to you all. You're going to be happy. So again, Dr. Sylinda, tell us what made you write this book on such the topic. Now, I've never read the book, but the topic seems so private that I'm wondering what led you to write the book.
Yes, and this is the book, Bleeding Between the Sheets. What I love about it, because some people, well, so many people told me they love the cover. You probably can't see it that well, but there's a young lady there, and you see where she's crying, bloods of tears. The
Mm-hmm.
bleeding between the sheets. Yes. When God gave me this title of the book, I had to understand that the world is bleeding between the sheets. The entire world, everybody is bleeding, and what's happening, because we all go through so much, and my target is women, of course, because I'm women's movement and ministry. So I talk about the women. There are several different chapters in here that touches on everything, sleeping with the enemy. Yes, the little girl and the grown woman on the inside bleeding between the sheets. See, we bleed mentally, financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally. We go through so much. And so I experienced a minor heart attack. And my past, like we've talked about that before, losing everything, having two breast cancer scares, I almost lost my left breast. During that time, I wanted to lay in the sheets and just cry. So I was actually bleeding between the sheets because I really didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to talk to anybody. It was just something I had to deal with. But then bleeding between the sheets is where you will also meet God. I talk about that in my book too, because when there's nobody else around that's bleeding with you, you got the blood of Jesus, and that's the only blood that's there with you. So, talking about that, even parents that go through different things, because we're living in a world where the enemy is busy. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So, he starts with the family. So, you have parents that are going through a lot with their children, where they're bleeding between the sheets. Those mothers are crying at night for their children. They see the hurt. They've been there. They know they don't want their children to hurt. So, they're bleeding for their children. Just so many different things, different sicknesses, diseases, the low self-esteem because you had something to happen to your body. It's been altered in some way. The things we go through. So there's so many different topics that I talk about in the book. It's a very short book. And after each chapter, I have a short poem there that encourages you after you understand, if I just stand in the midst of this, I'm going to bleed. But God can stop that bleeding, just like the woman with the issue of blood. She bled for so many years. We talk about the menstrual cycle and how she bled, but she also bled emotionally. She bled mentally because she couldn't be around anybody. She bled financially because she had spent all of her money. So when we think about this, we go through so much in life, and the entire world, as I just stated before, is bleeding between the sheets. As you just stated, we're told whatever happens in this house stays in this house. That leads to bleeding as well because you have nowhere to go. You have nobody to talk to. So you're just there in a pool of blood, and you're bleeding from within, and it's like you're hemorrhaging. And some people, it leads to mental illness, it leads to depression, it leads to stress, it leads to suicide, it leads to so many things because they haven't had the opportunity to allow the blood to flow. But God was speaking to me about it. And I had a cousin that bled last year. We could not figure out what was going on, constantly bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. The doctors had no idea. So that really touched me. And God says, it's time for you to get this book out so that you understand sometimes you got to go through what you need to go through in order to get it out of you. Because how could I talk about something that I've never experienced? So I had to experience losing my house, losing my car, losing my auto bill, losing the marriage, almost losing my life, going through with family members, seeing everyday problems that women go through. And if I am my sister's keeper, when she hurts, I hurt too. So I'm going to feel her pain. Sis, I come to help snatch those sheets, snatch you out of those sheets to understand you no longer have to bleed anymore. The only blood that you need to encounter right now is the blood of Jesus. I am here to speak life into you, to help pull you out of those sheets. And God allowed me to write this book to help them to understand you're bleeding right now. But just like the woman of in the Bible, when she touched the hem of his garment, the bleeding instantly stopped. It was because of her faith. But I do believe if there were sisters around that could come around her and say, you know what? I don't care if you're bleeding. I don't care if it's going. They're saying I can't touch you because I will be contaminated. But in this season and in this time, Just because she's going through something doesn't mean I have to stay away. Sis, I'm coming to embrace you. I'm coming to love you. I do believe that if she had some sister to love on her, to talk to her and pour into her, then it probably would not have been as bad. But that day that she had the encounter with Jesus, she had her comeback. That's the last chapter in my book. You can come back in between the sheets. And that's what this book is all about.
Ma'am, hold on. I'm getting passed around the collection plate right now because you are talking to me. I back to the point, the idea that, this is just about women. And I see some brothers on the line right now. God bless you, Deacon
Men
Matthew.
bleed too. Yes, they bleed as
Right,
well.
men
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
But and you said this is not, see, we this is where you can't judge a book by the cover, because
Hmm.
you said this is about people who are bleeding. The world is bleeding.
Yes.
I mean,
Hmm.
we have situations where, I feel like the enemy of our very soul want us to keep this inside, because, like you said, if you bleed out, then you can get some help. You got to bleed out somebody, because you don't know how to cry, you don't know how to ask for help.
Hmm.
And I see some people here, uh, um who honestly, actually, Tina Marie, myself, we all have issues. Like, I had brain aneurysms, not one. So, my brain literally was suffocating in its blood. So I say that to say that you are preaching to the choir. We know what it's like to bleed out and to come close to losing even your very life. Forget the stuff, the house, the cars, because you can always get those back. Once you're gone,
Hmm.
can't get you back
That's right.
unless the Lord recovers you.
Hmm.
On that point, I want to address, and Dr. Sylinda, I want to also give some of our panelists. I see people are chatting me. I have some text even now coming in. So people are watching and texting me. If you're texting me, I'm not ignoring you. I will read your question, but we can't get to everyone today. It is a stay in bed Saturday, and we had technical difficulties. For those of you who are coming on, that is why you see me in both screens, because like I said, the devil is defeated. He can't pull one over on God's people. The first question, and I understand how reading the cover can be misleading, but Amy, she's 25 years old, and she wrote, this is her real question. I don't want to give you the pretty version. I'll give you the real version. So her,
Yes.
her question reads, are y'all women really out here believing that love is painless? I ain't never had painless love. That's a question. So, Dr. Celinda, does love always have to hurt? Tina Marie, does love always have to hurt?
Love does not always have to hurt. When I think about love, first of all, I'm going to go to the Bible. For God so loved the world that he gave his only God son. Love does not always have to hurt. It's unfortunately that so many people have experienced that type of love. I do believe, and I'm not saying that because of who she is or how she's living her life or whatever, we attract who we are. One thing I realized in my life is I was so broken, I was attracting broken people, which caused me to hurt. So, what was happening, our broken pieces were clashing together and we were cutting each other each time we got together because they didn't understand who they were, neither did I. So pain, I mean, they're painless. It's definitely painless. Love is beautiful. It's beautiful. BK, I see photos of you and your husband, and when I see it, I can tell when people are putting on for for social media, as they say, putting on for the gram. I see the love that you guys have. I really genuinely see that love. Love is real. Is real. And you what you have to do is really pray and ask God, God, send me somebody to love me through you. Not just somebody that loves me, but love me through you and will love me the way that you want me to be loved. And that's why so many of us believe that it is a painful thing to experience. So no, I don't. I truly believe that love is real and it is painless.
Listen, we have a comment. It's Matthew says, "Thank God the Potter put you back together after heartbreak." And I believe
Yes.
that you will touch on those points in your book, because, and Amy, if you're watching right now, because she sent this comment in via Instagram. So if you're watching, Amy, the truth of the matter is, and this has nothing to do with your age, Amy, because I know that women are, Dr. Sylinda, like my age, well into their 50s, still believing that love is something that is painful. If you're not going through, I literally heard a girl on the, I think we were in, um, what do you call it? The coffee shop. And she said, I love when my boyfriend, like grabs me up, shakes me up a little bit, because I know that he cared that much. I, I turned my head like the movie Carrie. Like it went three, I went all the way around. Like, did I just hear her say that?
Unfortunately, the younger generation, I wouldn't say all, it's a difference now in the way that they're brought up. It's totally different. Videos, music, it's so much that contributes to what they feel that true love is. And I do say, if you've never experienced it or seen it, then you wouldn't know what it feels like to really be loved. Sometimes we can push real love away because we've never seen it before. I remember a while ago, as we said, we're telling our age, there was a wonderful guy in my life that actually loved me. And because I wasn't used to that and I didn't understand what real love felt like, I lost him. And I think about it now and I say, if I knew then what I know now, no man should ever shove you, push you. And this goes for men as well. No woman should ever do it. That's not what love is. Love is gentle. Love is kind. Love is humbleness. Love is just letting you know that I'm here for you. It's faithful. It's a beautiful thing. And it makes you feel so good and treasured. So I really pray for our younger generation that they will understand who they are and that God is love. And once they experience that love from God, then they'll understand what real love is from a human being.
And indeed, I think that is key. You said something that most people we don't pay attention to. If you don't know love, it can come and bite you on the neck, and you wouldn't know it if you've never seen it, experienced, ever seen it. I think that the images that we put, like that we see, Dr. Sylinda, like I myself, I'm not really a big TV person, but one show I recall watching some time ago, um, I don't want to name it, so I don't want anyone coming after me, but it was a something in hip hop show, like a show about couples, right? And there were, you know what I'm talking about, Tina.
Mhm.
There were, there were, there's this couple who this guy has like cheated on everybody, all this girl's friends, and she's like she's sticking around because it is love. It's love. I don't think that we're getting godly versions of what love is, and I don't expect the world to give us godly versions of love, but I do expect the church to give us godly versions of love.
One.
I be the glory for second chances, because I'm in my second marriage. So hallelujah to that. But I think that, if we, speaking back to the first comment that someone made, that if we don't talk about it, if we don't show it, if we're so private that we just watch you bleed out, like how are we gonna help each other if we're not talking about it? I want to
Wow.
give someone a chance. Tamika, you don't have your camera on, but if you would like to unmute yourself, you can do that if you have a question that you like to ask Dr. Sylinda. Okay, I see you unmute. If you want to get your question together, we'll come right back to you. May I ask Tina Marie, would you unmute kindly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, my sis.
So, Tina Marie, um, just say hi. People be
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Dr. Sylinda, so beautiful to see you so early in the morning.
Nice. Likewise.
okay. Tina, just just about Miss Tina Marie speaks. How we how
Yes.
but I put it in the chat actually if you can, because I think Dr.
It's not allowing me to put anything, it's not allowing me to put it in the chat,
Okay,
but it's,
you have a
I'm
cold.
sorry, go ahead.
You have a
Yeah,
cold.
I have allergies.
Okay,
Allergies. So forgive me for sounding so congested and nasally and like Mickey Mouse. Um, but I am Tina Marie Rodriguez. This is my first live back, in a while. um, and I'm very happy to be here this morning with my sister Abigail Farley of FPI Network, Dr. Sylinda Mumphery. It's just an honor to be back. Um, and I love the book. I've loved the book from the beginning. And we've all had our fair share of bleeding within the sheets. Um, but I have to give a praise report. God is good all the time. If you hold on to his hand and you go to him, he'll meet you where you are. Especially that touched me, um, how you describe love, just straight from the word. Love is kind, love is patient, love is covers a multitude of sins. Okay? And this for the young lady, Amy, please don't look in wrong directions. Take a step back. And I think for me as a woman, and I can only speak for a woman, and I'm sure as men as well, that I get to see, you're not loving yourself. Remember how God, one of the things that God said is, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Hold on to that scripture. God, my grandmother used to say it all the time, and I'm gonna post it on a wall. God don't make junk. You're a prized possession in His eyes. So when we learn that, we're taking the steps in the right direction. So Amy, as the wonderful women that I'm here with, start to learn to love yourself. Turn away from those negative things that you're experiencing. As my sisters have said, love is not painful. It's painful with the wrong person. And gentlemen, the same for you. Love is painful with the wrong person. And I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be here. Blessed to be here.
Well, I'm so happy to see you. I know Dr. Sylinda is as well. We love you. The reason even though I thought you would be the only person up, but I'm happy. I'm happy to hear Tina Marie because you are proof to the work of Dr. Sylinda. You are proof of that love. You are proof that she's just talking about it, that she puts her money where her mouth is, so that we
Yes.
keep on platform out here in the streets, as they say, who are they are not about it. They're not about it. So I,
No, I could honestly say that she is proof positive. I've these last, and I was just praying about it too this morning. These last 2 years, 3 years actually, have been the worst, the most tumultuous storms I've ever been in. Dr. Sylinda, which I didn't know at the time, she met me during that chaotic time. Advocate, you've rode the storm with me for many,
yes,
many years. But Dr. Sylinda came in a time when it was just so chaotic. And I can tell you, if like you had said, just stated, with the woman with the issue of blood, if she had sisters around her, and I mean real sisters, that will tell you, look, come back here. I got to pull you back. I remember, and this is for anybody going through those storms. Hold on. If you're going through hell, go through hell. I can't sugarcoat it because we have too many sisters and too many of our own brothers dying and bleeding in the sheets. I was one of those women bleeding within the sheets, wanting to stay in bed when I got a diagnosis that I thought I was going to die. The devil had me bound. Okay, you're going to die this time. I'm going to make sure of it. Today is proof positive. This is my first live on social media. And who better to share it with? Dr. Sylinda met me when I was homeless in a hotel because of things that the devil took from me. But he didn't kill me.
well,
God saw fit. I'm bringing sisters in that's going to empower you, that is going to
because
speak life. When she says speak life, she means speak life. Abigail, but a road dog, my road warrior, my prayer warrior in the midst of chaos. She was with me when my father passed, when my father had a massive heart attack, and when I wanted to give up. Abigail says, don't you dare. You can have your pity party, but you better be done in 30 minutes or less. So to anyone out there, You will find, God will send people to you. Just ask. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed, because we've all been there. If we're going to be honest, and these women are women of faith, women of valor, and they are strong women warriors. I'm telling you, link up with these women. Advocate Farley of FBI Network, Dr. Sylinda Mumphery. When they speak, they walk in. If you need me, I am here as well. I speak, I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I can't sugarcoat anything.
I,
But please
that.
don't, yes, don't stay bound. Don't stay in that prison. I'm telling you from personal experience. I almost died staying in that prison, but God kept me.
Mm.
Lean on Him. Don't go to some man, don't go to some women. Before you do that and you go into all the wrong places, stop and speak to Him. And I don't care how you tell Him. Prayer is just a conversation with God, as we are having here this Saturday morning. Prayer is just a conversation with God. Speak freely to Him, however you want to speak to Him, and wait for the answer. Thank you so much.
But, uh,
Amen.
we, uh, well,
Can't hear you.
sorry. Matthew says that God is a friend of a wounded heart, and He heals secret scars, and He's able to meet you where you are. And I think that Dr. Celinda, when you wrote this book, did you find that you were encountering things that maybe you thought were buried or healed, or but they reopened, during the writing of this book?
Oh, yes. I talk about it in, I think, two chapters. One chapter in particular is about bleeding between the sheets when you feel abandoned. Um, my father died when I was in third grade, and it wasn't much of a father, but I wanted that father figure. So now when I see young ladies or even older women with their father and the love, it really touches my heart because that was something I longed for. And I was so angry with him. I remember one day, and again, this is in the book, on my grandmother's porch. He rode by on a motorcycle, and I was like, Daddy, Daddy. And so I thought he would turn around and come back. He just blew the horn, kept going, never came back. So the next thing I knew, he had passed away. So at the funeral, I was very angry and confused at the same time. This was when I was in third grade. Had another family member to pass away. I think I was in my 30s at the time. Went to the funeral, and at the grave site where my father was, I walked over to his grave and I said, I forgive you. I forgive you. So it opened up a wound as I was writing the book because I spoke about that. That was the day that the bleeding that I had encountered from abandonment, when I said, I forgive you and I love you, the bleeding stopped. Just like the woman with the issue of blood. It stopped at that time. I said, no more hemorrhaging in this area of my life of abandonment. This is where the bleeding stops today. So yeah, I did have to relive several parts in this book. Yes.
Wow, that's I don't know if if you're watching. um I just and here's a couple messages from Instagram. It says men and women bleed the same, so um women don't have the rights to bleeding. I think I understand what they're saying. They're saying we don't have the market on pain, but I beg to differ, Dr. Celinda. I beg to differ, but you know, and thank you for your comment.
Yes.
Not really a question, but Dr. Celinda, what would you say to that?
I can agree that men and women do bleed. We don't bleed the same. If we're looking at the physical blood, the red, yes, we do bleed the same.
Mhm.
I wrote, and not to throw another book in there, but I wrote another book about listening to the woman's heart, listening to her heartbeat, how you understand there may be something that triggered her in her life, being molested by a family member, father, or someone that she's gone through. And it does happen to men or young boys, don't get me wrong. But there's a different heartbeat that we have, a different heartbeat that we carry. And I even say that with God. God loves us all, man, woman. But I do believe that there's a different type of heartbeat when He created women, when He laid us on His heart and we became one. Our heartbeats became one. And So we all bleed in different ways, but there are different things that women go through, such as pregnancy, the menstrual cycle that we go through. To keep it real, just so many things. I believe that a lot of pain comes through our stomach area, our uterus, and then our breasts, because of what we carry, the power and the difference that God, where God has made us. Although we do see a lot of surgery, alterations, and things going on now, to but when you're naturally the way that God brought you in, there's a difference in the way that we bleed. So we're not discounting this morning that men don't bleed as well. Because I have brothers. I've gone through storms with them. As I said, the cousin that bled all last year was a male. It really hurt me to see him go through that, bleeding constantly, not understanding, the doctors not knowing. So we all do bleed. I do agree with that. But to a certain extent, there is a little difference.
I agree. Can I ask you, Marie, because I have some comments here saying, how do I get in on the session? Can you take the link that I sent to you and put it on the Facebook page? So they can, if you can you do that for me, please? Because I want to, we're not going to be able to get around to everyone's comment. Maybe after we wait a month or so, you all get the book and invite Dr. Sylinda back, because these questions are, Dr. Sylinda, they're coming in left and right. People are listening in the comments, but we won't be able to get to everyone. But I would like to address the next comment. Maggie, who is 60 years old, she says, at my age, I don't need love. So, Dr. Sylinda, at what age do we stop needing a man's love?
There is no age that you stop needing a man's love. When you are 6 feet under is when you stop needing a man's love. There's a difference between needing and wanting. Um, Let me go back to piggyback on that question. Read it one more time. I want to make sure that I answer this correctly.
At 60 years old, at Maggie, 60 years old, says, at my age, I don't need love. I don't need love. At what age do we stop needing a man's love?
Okay. With all due respect, if Miss Maggie is watching, I'm so happy that you asked that question. What I'm hearing is I don't need a man, not I don't need love. So that's what I'm hearing. I don't know if it's from past trauma or pain that you've gone through. As I stated, this is why I wrote the book, because many of us are bleeding. We're in those sheets, we're covered up and we're bleeding. We got scars, we got so much that we're going through. I don't, again, when we go back to love, the first question, it's a beautiful thing. That's how God created us, man and woman, to come together and just, oh my God, it's such a beautiful thing. So I don't feel that you ever stop needing love. That is some love makes you come alive. When you think about people that are sick and going through things, if someone comes to visit them and show them love, whether it's man or woman, it really does something to the system. It really helps them to thrive. It gives them a smile. And what it's saying is, I can go on, I can live on. So just needing a man, what each other women always say that I'm the prize. I think a man is the prize too. We're all the prize when we come together the way that God wants us to come together. So I really don't feel that there is ever a time that you stop needing a man. Never.
So, Maggie, that is the answer to your question. And I wholeheartedly believe that that's true. I'm in agreement with that. I don't believe we ever stop requiring love. I just believe that it's something that makes the world go round. You know, the sun loves on the earth and we get flowers. I just think that everything, oh, my line from The Color Purple, everything needs a little bit of love. you know, um, that I just believe that's true. So I hope, Maggie, you can link up with Dr. Sylinda if you'd like to. I put her information, I put her website up there in the chat, so you'll be able to reach out further to her, because we're drawing. I know we're drawing to a close. I hate it myself because this is good conversation, but this is why the network brings you these stay in bed Saturday chats, because it's good information. It's something that you need to know. We need to know the leaders in our communities, the people doing the work. I see Fran is on. I see Tina Marie is back. You know, we are a network of women, and we just bring information to our communities because this is necessary. You could tell by the questions that I have read. Dr. Sylinda, your voice is necessary and you are necessary. I
Amen.
don't want to just address leave it with all women. And Mr. Evans sent me a question in, and I want to read it. So Mr. Evans, this question's for you. It's for the gentlemen, it's for the brothers. We've read some comments from men. So this is not just about women because as Dr. Sylinda said in the very, very beginning, the world is bleeding. This is not about women bleeding between the sheets. It's about the world bleeding. So Mr. Evans says, "Oh, Mr. Evans, I'm going to read this question, but I can tell you right now, if you reach out to me, I'm going to read you the riot act."
Uh-oh.
He said, I wrote the question down. Not really. I just it just registered because I probably wouldn't have chose this question.
Mm.
But he says women tolerate abuse because it's natural for them to submit. Mr. Evans, you're going to get jumped on the streets. Watch your back. He says women tolerate abuse because it's natural for them to submit. Dr. Sylinda, I already know you're going to say that's not true.
Actually, it's no, no, it's not. So what I'm getting from this is because it's natural for women to submit, we tolerate the abuse. Same thing you just said. So, in other words, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Evans, you're saying submission comes with abuse. Submission is okay. I'm going to submit to you, or the abusing. Let me just say this. Let me back up. Some people will use abuse for submission. When we think about, I'm going to say the movie you just talked about, Purple, the Purple
Uh-huh.
Man. When we think about Mister, the submission, she tolerated because that was what she understood. That was all that she had seen in her life, the abuse, mentally, physically, verbally. And so that is what I guess he would say, submitted to, because that was all that she knew. So if that is something that you're used to, you probably will submit to it. But I wouldn't say that is naturally. What person is naturally, I mean, when it comes to submission, that the abuse has to come along with it, is natural for them. I totally disagree. And there's so much more that I can say with that, but I digress. I digress.
We have to digress on that because, but well, it shows exactly what you're saying in the purpose of your book. The world is bleeding for Mr. Evans, Mister, to think that ab- abuse is natural. That means there's something wrong
Yeah,
because, you know, like I said, I'm in my second marriage. A lot of us we know are in second marriages or new relationships. If you love that person, the last thing you're thinking is that they're going to abuse you. If you slap a dog, and I'm not calling anyone a dog, but I use this analogy to say that it's natural for any and everything to defend itself, not tolerate abuse.
mhm.
So I don't know, Mr. Evans, where you grew up at. I wish I knew your age, but
Right.
you need to connect with my husband at the king's table. You need Jesus, sir, because there is no way that you're telling me that it's natural for a woman to tolerate any type of abuse
Not at all.
because is a woman. When the Bible talks about the woman being a weaker vessel, he's not meaning weak in mind, spirit, nor strength.
Exactly.
It's
Mhm.
saying give honor to her because she is delicate. She's the
Exactly.
delicate version of you. But sir, go find Jesus right now. We're gonna pray for you, Mr. Evans.
Next question.
Right? Because you're crazy. Um, we literally are over the time. I think that Dr. Sylinda, would it be possible to get your book and we do a book club?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay, and then you join us maybe at the end of that. Um, I just think there's just so much more that we could talk into and
Mhm.
tap into.
Mhm.
But thank you, Bonita. Speak the facts. I would like for you to come back after we have read the book because the subject itself, the book
Mhm.
title, even the cover. Dr. Sylinda, I saw that cover and I was like, oh, I need to read this. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll get the book. Let's make it available to the women in the network. Let's drop it into the chat so people can come and get the book, and then we come right back and speak again at another date.
And thank you, BK. Again, I made it an easy read, so you can read this in like minutes. I would say maybe an hour. Um, it's a quick read, and so a very the chapters are very short. So I'm hitting every aspect of where a woman bleeds. I'm going to say this as well. Again, you spoke about we are not talking about what we go through. There are so many grown women and the little girls within that are having conversations with each other between the sheets because they share the same secrets. And they have to be able to talk about that. I talk about the young girl not being able to be a young girl because of her innocence being stolen. She's bleeding between the sheets as a little girl and grows up as a woman. And what I say is, mothers, fathers, and again, I'm speaking to the women in this book, hold your daughters tight, because if you don't, the sheets will. You got to understand that we are in a season as women where we are strong. We are breaking barriers. We are shattering glass ceilings. We are powerful. But the thing that tried to kill us is taking us to a point where we're holding into those sheets and we're constantly bleeding. Men want women that are healed and whole. The world needs people that are healed and whole. The world, period. But we got to come out of those sheets. And when people say, oh, you just tell all your business, people said that to me. No, I'm talking about, I'm testifying for one. And I'm talking about what tried to kill me actually healed me, because once you're able to talk about it, you're going through your healing stage at that time. You're coming out of those sheets. Again, I'm coming to snatch every person, man, woman, whoever, out of the sheets and let you know that you no longer have to bleed. There is a comeback on the inside of you in between bleeding sheets.
Ma'am, you said a mouthful right there, because no one wants somebody that's broken. Be whole. If you're a man or a woman, this is not a game. This is not a conversation about women versus men. This is a conversation about hurting people. There is a little girl on the inside of a lot of women who are hurting. There are little boys on the inside of a lot of men who are hurting. So you can get Dr. Sylinda's book. It's at Sylinda D, right?
Right.
.com. So cylindad.com, get the book. We're going to come back maybe in a couple of weeks after you've gotten your book, and we're going to do a book, just one round of book club. It will be on this platform. Let's use this platform so that those comments that are coming in through Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, you can see the comments along there. I We want everyone to be able to be a part, to participate and join us in what we know the world needs. The world needs a healing. So you don't have to bleed between the sheets any longer. You don't have to bleed alone. So, with that being said, we're going to thank you, Dr. Sylinda. I'm going to close us out. I still have tons of comments and questions on my phone. I'm looking at it. For those of you who can see me, I see your comments, I see your questions. Come back again in a couple of weeks, but get the book so that you're informed. And a lot of your questions will probably be addressed in the book. Dr. Sylinda, I bless God for you. I thank you for your life. I call you pastor. You need to receive that. So
Thank you for having me.
it's a pleasure. Everyone have a good Saturday. Stay in bed. All right. God bless. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you again.
You're so welcome. It was such a pleasure. Really, Dr. Sylinda, these comments are crazy. Like, I can't believe I chose Mr. Evans, because I was like, wait a minute. I said, and I was thinking,
I
let me read
think you're
one.
still, are you still live?
No, no, we're
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Oh, I think we're done on the live. I see Fran there, but I'm pretty sure done on live. I'm not sure,
Oh,
but
it says live. Okay.
there were some crazy, crazy questions. So we'll come back in a couple of weeks. I'll get the book. I'm going to put my order in today.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Have a great one.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.